Hello, here we go. I'm back, and I'm currently preparing the medicine. Again, it's called Clout. Um, Medicine, this tank for ick, because I absolutely hate ick, and recently I've had some bad luck. Keep getting it, thinking it might be the local pet store where I'm getting most of my fish. Again, they look perfectly fine when you buy them, but the stress of moving them again from distribution to the pet store back to my house is just a little too much, I guess. But like some new fish aren't getting it. Like Congo tetras are fine. The Geophagus, that little guy over there, he's been fine. The giant Danios upstairs in my 30-gallon tank, they're fine. And I've gotten them from like Pets Plus or PetSmart, one of those big chain stores. I'm not a huge fan of going there, but I mean, they do sometimes have nice fish. But recently, I've had bad luck. I've had fish die, and the culprit in this tank, or the fish who's sick right now in this tank, is this here iridescent shark. I know he's super stressed from the pet store. Moving a fish like that is not an easy thing to do. And at the pet store, he got an injury on his nose. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's kind of dark and blurry back there. But he sustained an injury on his nose, and it does not look good. But I mean, he's gonna make it. But because of all that stress, he does have a few white spots on him. And the last thing I want is any more fish dying of ick, because I really hate it. There's my leopard tenopoma back there, one of my favorite fish. I would love to get another one, but hard to come by. There's the Geophagus doing what he does, picking up pebbles and eating. My baby little juvenile Senegal Bashir. Cool looking fish. We got my breeding angelfish pair. This is the female right here. And this is the male with his crazy colors and these fins that just go on forever. They actually go on further than his actual tail fin. This guy I have had forever. He's probably at least 2 years old, I'd say. Or she. Pretty sure it's a she. Not easy to tell with Gouramis, but she does have that huge stomach, and that dorsal fin kind of makes me think it's a female. She's actually pretty aggressive. She's actually probably one of the most aggressive fish in here. Anytime there's a new fish, she's always the first to say hello, and not in the most welcoming way. But it was worse when she was still in the 30-gallon tank. Now she's kind of mellowed out. She kind of has a whole tank to mind her business. Love the stripes and the colors on her. The single most aggressive fish in here when it comes to just being a bully is the two angelfish. When they have eggs in the tank, it's just nobody can be anywhere from like this point in the tank and on, because they like to lay them over here. They got the nice big leaves to lay them on. It's pretty cool when they do it, having a fish that does that. But I'm not a big fan of how aggressive they get, but that's nature. And they completely guard off this half of the tank. Everyone's stuck over here. But that happens probably every 2 or 3 weeks. Now this guy, my leopard tenopoma, they call them leopard gouramis, African leaf fish, whatever. But the technical name for him is tenopoma. It's a weird, probably Latin name. These guys, they're not very aggressive. I've never seen them actually bully fish or anything like that, but I have seen them. I've seen him eat fish because this guy has the largest mouth in this entire tank. Like, I don't care who you say in this tank, not even the catfish, iridescent shark, my Jack Dempsey upstairs. This guy has by far the largest mouth because it goes from like that big and just opens to like the height of his body almost, or at least half the height of his body. It's an unbelievable mouth. This guy just opens his mouth and sucks in whatever he wants. This guy is eating fish. Like, I was so convinced on these fish that they wouldn't get eaten, and somehow he still eats them. He just has so much room in that mouth, and will basically eat anything that fits in it. So that's the one downside of this fish. Other than that, one of the coolest fish I've ever had. I love the colors. I love the way they move. They're so slow. It's like they're just waiting to ambush. Another one of my favorite fish. Again, here's another Synodontis. You saw the one upstairs. They used to be in the tank together. My dad didn't like how much they would fight. It wasn't really like fighting. They're just a little territorial, and they chase each other around. Occasionally throw a bite or two, but you know, it's just what fish do. They weren't. They never tried to like kill the other. But so I split them up. Put that guy upstairs. Put this guy in here. Now I told you guys already in the other video how fast these guys grow, and this guy was even worse than the one upstairs. So this guy was small enough that he used to be able to fit in that tiny little hole in the driftwood when I got him in fall of last year. He was literally like the tiny little pet store version of these guys, and he had the cool polka dot pattern up and down with like zigzags on his tail. And then all of a sudden I put him in here, and he instantly went from that to full grown. I mean, he's not fully full grown. He'll full out some more. They just keep eating and eating. He might get a little longer. I doubt it though. But he went from this to that within maybe 2 or 3 months. Like, it is just unbelievable how much these guys eat. And I mean, but the good thing about them is they stay that size. They don't get big. They're not a tank breaker like a red-tailed cat or anything like that. And the patterns and the fins on them make them such a good fish to keep in a small tank like a 55 like I have them in. There's one of my rope fish. I do have two. They like to hide. Oh, there's the second one. So they like to hide underneath this bubbling clamshell. There's a little cave, and he likes to go in there. I think he's going in there now. Yep. He goes under there, and there's a little exit on the other side. But I had one for so long, and I just had to ask the pet store to get another one for me. They're just the coolest thing ever. I posted a video about adding the second one and how they can breathe out of water. They were trying to get out of the net when I was trying to add them. It's super funny to watch, and then they actually just look exactly like a snake. But they're actually related to these guys, the Bashirs. Super cool fish. So easy to keep because they get long, but they don't take up much space because of how small they are, like skinny. So you can keep them in something as small as this despite how long they get. My favorite pleco of all time has got to be this guy, the Royal Pleco. I've had bad luck in the past with these guys for various reasons. One died due to an ick outbreak. Again, I hate ick. Another died. I forget how. Oh, here's the rope fish. They always do this. They're known to like cuddle or whatever you want to call it together. It's pretty funny to watch because they're very interesting creatures. They're almost completely blind, and again, they look just like snakes, just underwater. They have one of the best personalities in this entire tank. Very funny creatures. But again, they're almost completely blind, so it's hard for them to find food. They are nocturnal. And back to the Royal Pleco. I've had this guy for a good amount of time now. He's doing good. I love the colors on him, the stripes that go down. You can't really see him because he likes this little cave. You can kind of see the stripes on him and his bright red eyes. One of my favorite plecos. And then last fish I'm going to show you before I put the medicine in is my Burmese clouded archer. This guy is the most expensive fish in my tank. But again, that was due to the addition of shipping costs, because these guys are so hard to find. They come from like one tiny little area in India, and they only make fishing trips there so often. And so I found out about these guys because I wanted a regular archer fish, but they get big, they get a foot long, and they're brackish. They're not, I know people keep them in fresh water, but they're not supposed to. These guys, 100% fresh water. They have that awesome, they call them clouded archers because of the dark patterns and blotches on them. And so when I found out about these, I basically searched everywhere on the internet looking for these for sale, and every site was either $150 and up per fish, or they were out of stock, or both. It was that expensive and out of stock, or there was like a minimum of buying 3 fish from the company, and it was super frustrating. And I actually got to like the 3rd page of Google search looking for these fish for sale, and I found one. It was just the next state over. It was perfect, and they were selling them for like $32, and then with shipping it was like $55. And as soon as I saw that, I had to pounce on it. I had to get this fish, and I was super worried in those days because I had never ordered a fish online. It's super sketchy due to obviously how cheap it was compared to every other site, and obviously the fact that it could very well come in dead. But the owner of that store, he was super cool about it. I probably called him like 3 or 4 times, and this guy was like super understanding about how I've never ordered fish, and I want to make sure he came alive. And like he would tell me, like he was looking at the exact fish that they were gonna send me, and he was telling me like how good he looks, he's healthy, and that they keep him in quarantine by themselves for a period of time before they ship them, just to make sure of all that stuff. And then he let me literally choose. So they don't have an exact like shipping length. Once it is shipped, it obviously has to come within like 1 or 2 days, depending how far away you are, because obviously the fish has to live. But he let me actually choose which day to get shipped on, so I could work around my work and school schedule, so I would be home whenever the fish came in. I could get them right into acclimating into the tank. And when I opened up that box, I was so convinced he was going to be dead, but you know, he scared me at first wasn't doing well at first, but like within half an hour, he was swimming around, showing off those cool colors and those fins. A couple times he shows them when he goes all the way out with his fins. They're like pretty spiky, like that right there. And it's just an awesome looking fish. Expensive when you can find them, but definitely worth it. They are a schooling fish, so if I ever do have the money, I would love to get like 2 more of these because they only get up to 6 inches. Just a great fish overall. Never bothers anybody. And the one thing, they do eat live food because they're wild caught. So this guy loves to eat crickets. Like when I feed crickets, this guy could probably swallow like 2 or 3 in a row and then swallow them whole and find another one. Like this guy will just keep eating crickets. It's his favorite thing to do. But eventually he does catch on watching the other fish eat the regular fish food like we got up here. He'll even sometimes eat jumbo krill occasionally. Again, it's not ideal for him because he's not used to it in the wild, but they are a great fish and they do eventually learn to eat normal food, at least with this specimen. The one goal of mine is to eventually find a way to like have something that goes over the water line, like a plant or a piece of wood, and lower the water level so I can get him doing his signature thing, which is to like, you know, spit the water at the bugs so they fall off the branch into the water and he just snatches them up. That's how they got the name archerfish. I think it's a super cool thing. It's just crazy that nature found a way to do that. You can see my angelfish, they're getting kind of aggressive, so I'm thinking, and they're starting to peck at each other. And that's usually what they do before it's time to lay eggs. So I'm guessing next few days we'll be seeing some eggs out of these guys. But again, it's super cool that they do that. I want to one day like see this guy do that because it's very natural. It's what he did in the wild. So yeah, there's that. And now these tablets of Clout are all dissolved and mixed up. I'm going to now put these in. Again, I don't have to worry about removing the carbon. I don't keep carbon in my filter. It just takes up space that I like to use on extra bio materials, extra bio rocks, etc. So I like to keep more of those, and I don't put carbon in the filter unless I'm medicating. So here we go. I'm gonna put the Clout in, and the temperature of the tank is raised up to about 86, I'd say, closer to 87 maybe. And that again kills ick faster. It's a pretty effective way of removing ick or killing it faster. But just to be safe than sorry, I am going to add this Clout, and hopefully this will kill all the ick as well. Again, this stuff's super strong, and it should only take 2 doses max. This stuff's really good. So there's that. After I think all the ick's gone, I'm gonna do a huge water change just to make sure, vacuum the gravel, get it all out of there. But as you can see, it turns the water blue for a minute. It's kind of funny. So there's that. I'm gonna shut the tank light off now. I'm sure they're not happy about the medicine. And I think that's all for today. I will update you if I have anything to update you on. So that's all. And make sure to like, subscribe, and watch for more videos, because I will continue posting as I get updates. Thank you.